Hey guys, welcome back. Carter, BitsBeTrippin. Glad to have you back. Going to take you guys through a quick one today on the container build that we did for the Bitcoin mine over the last couple months. And you guys, if you've been following us on Twitter, you see a lot of progress being made, machines deployed, configurations being done, but I haven't had the opportunity to sit here and go through some stuff with you guys on the channel in a while, mainly because that's been the primary focus. We had a lot of consulting work come in, and it just kind of compressed the entire schedule that didn't leave a lot of time for me to have a conversation with you guys. So we're going to get back into the swing of things. Things have calmed down. The machines are deployed. We're going through that, there's maintenance cycles to get the last few bit online. I want to take you guys through that. Bring part of the team that was deploying it. This is our electricians. And I'm going to take you through just a couple of the things that we've had to work through. So when you go out and you order maybe a pre-built container, or even if it's like a 20-foot or you're trying to build your own setup, there's a lot of nuance to three-phase power and making sure that you have what you need when you're deploying. And one thing is for certain, we learned a lot on this build, but got through it. And I want to take you guys through a couple of the things that we had to address when we started peeling everything back and getting ready for the installation of the power. So I'm going to set the scene for this. This is in one of the containers, and it's behind where the power panels are. So a basic setup in a container build essentially is like a 40-foot container or a 20-foot container, however, what size that you need. Containers hold a certain amount of ASICs. 20-footer will hold up to about 120 machines if they're Bitmain S19s. A 40-footer can hold all the way up to 360 machines. So it gives you kind of a concept if you know how much power each machine are going to draw, that kind of give you an idea of about 1.2 to 1.5 megawatts worth of electricity that can come out of one of those containers. And that gives you a kind of an understanding of what you need from a power panel standpoint and kind of the structure from the 20 or 30 amp breakers that you're going to use and all that. So this video that I'm going to show you here is a raw, uncut kind of just talk through on one of the things that we had to work through on the back of one of the major power panels. So there's 3 power panels in our containers. They're 800 amp 3-phase, and essentially it's like your home power, just a little scaled up, where you essentially have where your breakers are going to go, and then you have a neutral and a ground lug kit on each side that, like, if you opened up your house power panel, with an electrician, you would see where you're going to land your grounds and your neutrals. And we had kind of an issue with our containers with certain things that were missing, that probably should have been there. But we had to work through the issues as we started to uncover them with the back of the panels off. And you have that coupled with the, engineering design, working through the schematics with the power company of what's required back to the transformer and all that. And it's kind of one of those things, you got it on paper, but when you start to kind of peel wires back and you start doing stuff, sometimes you run into, some things that you have to change and make adjustments. So I'm going to roll this video and let you guys kind of see and hear what some of the things that we had to work through. If you're doing a deployment, this might be something you run into, and here's a way to kind of fix it. And then we'll wrap up this video.
Okay, so come in here. Open this up. All right, so our first, so this is one that we've already changed and done. The next one I'll show you will be the one how it was shipped to us. So this grounding lug had to go on here. It was just a straight bar, no extra lugging here. So for both your grounds pulled with your parallels, and then your neutral bar with your 3/300ths had to put this lug on here. Nowhere to land anything in this enclosure. So there's your lugs that we've added. This one, neutral and grounding wise, is completed. So we'll go down here. I'll show you before that gets done. Probably should have went the other direction, but that's okay. So this one is what it came to us like. As I said on the other one, no grounding lugs, nowhere to land any wire. On our application here, this bar that bonds your grounds and neutrals actually has to be removed per our engineering company. So that gets removed, and then your ground lugs, neutral lugs get added back here.
Why would they have done that in that way? Or where Wattum put that together like that?
This right here?
Mm-hmm.
So, in our situation here where this service is our first point of disconnect means, it is required by the NEC to bond these two together. Being that we had to pull an isolated ground back to a transformer, which is typically not done on a secondary off a transformer by the utility company. But since our engineering company required that, you were creating a second loop for neutral in case you ever dropped actual neutral to put voltage back on ground, and you never want to do that. So
Because it would energize the container.
it could possibly, you could possibly put voltage on your ground, and you should never have voltage on ground. So this is basically creating another path to try to complete a circuit that we don't want. So it's
Because we're isolated now through the
so
transformer.
your ground is completely isolated, ground to ground, ground to the grounding grid. Your neutral is completely isolated to the transformer, so it's only bonded in the transformer.
Cool.
So it's isolated in this scenario. Here is one of these containers with these IEK breakers. They already had these installed. The bottoms already hooked up. Looks like they've already been torqued. So everything on the load side, which is your bottom here, it looks fine. The top is, it's a little hard to see, but the top is where the issue lies by having to pull in 500s set NSI connectors and go down to 300s. There's real long, you can see them copper bars there, copper bars with holes in them, but there's no lugging on any of this breaker to land any 300s, 500s, or any wire per matter. So they have this extension off the back here that works great for certain scenarios, but here it doesn't work, and there's no lugs. There's no lug kit or anything for it. So to show you the breaker a little better, here's what it looks like in the back of the container. And I'm sure there's probably a lug set up for this exact breaker that would work to land wires, but this is what was sent in the container.
Yeah, so it's got a huge extension on the back.
Yes, and being that this is this far back in that container and that size of wire, trying to bend it around, even if you could extend these lugs back, you'd be so back.
Yeah,
so
you'd almost be touching the back.
You'd just be so far back in the container, it's just almost virtually impossible.
Yeah,
to
because we
mount.
don't have this section on those other breakers.
Other breakers, yeah.
So
Let's take a look at those. Here's what the other breakers look like in the container. You have your lugs that came factory, 3 holes up to 300 MCM. And then the bottoms actually had the same lug kits on them, which we had to remove for this application, which actually we already put the cover on the bottom of that. But just like the other breaker, they landed right on the bottom, no problem. And then obviously that's what it looks like up top with all your 300s landed and your 500s coming in the back. I don't know if you can see back there a little bit with all your connectors.
yeah.
So these breakers here, like the one that's put in this cabinet and the one I'm holding, these are they work great. The bracket system is a little different for them other breakers, so there's adjustments on the brackets height wise, and obviously getting the covers to work correctly. So in a sense, it's like there's 2 almost different assembly lines for the different containers a little bit service wise, because the services are built a little different.
Yeah, between
this
these
one,
and then the other ones.
and then the other ones, yeah. So
And like, we're gonna have to.
yeah,
it's
we're
just
gonna have to do something with
the plate that's there.
the cover. Let's see, these breakers sit a little lower, so you know, we might be able to make this panel enclosure work here. Yeah. So it'll still
Typically,
work.
it would just cover.
Yeah, you would typically just cover this section or below here, but we'll see what we can do about putting a little plate or something in there for this one. But yeah, they fit, but they're, like I said, a little lower, and these brackets are in different locations. So just a little different.
Okay, guys, hopefully you guys like that. Some just raw, straight, you know, here's what it is videos, and give you guys some insight on some of the build stuff. We have a ton more that we recorded through this entire process. And I want to kind of take some, you know, of you guys through this and kind of just give you the kind of raw, unedited, kind of how we had to approach certain things. Let me know down in the description if that's the kind of stuff you want. There's other stuff that we'll narrate through. And of course, we're going to get back to a live stream schedule just to kind of kick back with the crew and see how things are going with you guys. I know a lot of questions are out there with related to, like, you know, what are we doing with GPUs right now? Are we still going to do stuff with GPUs? What's going on in just the crypto world in general? Why, you know, how does it work with like building in a bear market, all those kind of things. So ready to get back into the swing of things with you guys. Thanks for tuning in for this one. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, and sharing. We're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers this year. That's my goal. That's my soft goal. I have an entire year to see if we can get that last, you know, 18,000 or so people just to have that milestone. You know, the big thing with that is you get that little, you know, that little placard from YouTube. It's been a long time kind of goal for me and the channel, just to show an accomplishment of hitting a milestone. So thanks for sharing this out there, and let me know what you guys want to see. See you, my dudes. Peace.